Remember when your heart sank the last time you were cut off on the highway? Now imagine that feeling, but instead of you driving a car, you're flying down a runway at 200 miles per hour, and the same thing happens. Talk about an oh crap moment. And let's not forget about the close call at Chicago Midway. Two planes, way too close for comfort. These incidents make everyone wonder, is it even safe to fly anymore? From near misses on the runway to emergency landings, it seems like there's a new aviation mishap every week. Remember that Delta flight that had to make an emergency landing because the engine decided to take an early retirement? Or the Boeing door that seemingly said, "See you later," mid-flight? And it's not just the big dramatic incidents. There have been a concerning number of smaller incidents and near misses, like the runway collision in Japan that thankfully didn't turn into a fiery disaster. It's time to take a deep dive into the current state of aviation safety and see if our fears are justified or if we're all just a bunch of worrywarts. Okay folks, let's talk numbers. According to the International Air Transport Association, in 2024, there was one accident for every 880,000 flights. While the long-term trend shows that flying is getting safer overall, 2024 did see an uptick in accidents and fatalities compared to the previous year. There were 7 fatal accidents in 2024, compared to just 1 in 2023. But before you flush your boarding pass down the toilet, let's look at the bigger picture. If you look at the 5-year average from 2020 to 2024, there was one accident for every 810,000 flights. And if you really want to feel better, consider this. A study by MIT found that you'd have to fly every day for 103,239 years to experience a fatal accident. So, what's the verdict? Is flying safe? Statistically speaking, yes, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be concerned about the recent uptick in incidents. Alright, so we've established that flying is statistically safer than, say, trusting a raccoon with your tax returns. But with the recent uptick in incidents, the question remains, what the heck is being done about it? Well, grab your peanuts and buckle up because we're about to delve into the world of aviation safety regulations. In response to the recent incidents, governments and regulatory bodies have been scrambling to reassure the public that they're taking action. The FAA, for example, has been working on addressing issues like inconsistent funding and updating outdated technology. The NTSB, on the other hand, investigates crashes, figures out what went wrong, and makes recommendations to prevent future disasters. The problem is, they have about as much power as a goldfish in a shark tank. In addition to these efforts, there have been calls for increased transparency and accountability within the aviation industry. After all, we're the ones putting our lives in their hands every time we board a plane. Okay, so we've looked at the numbers, we've discussed the safety measures, but let's be honest, some of you are still sweating profusely just thinking about stepping foot on a plane. And that's okay. A fear of flying is surprisingly common, affecting over 25 million adults in the US alone. The good news is, there are ways to manage those pre-flight jitters. First off, remember what we talked about earlier. Statistically, flying is still one of the safest modes of transportation. If that's not enough to calm your nerves, there are other coping strategies you can try, like meditation, deep breathing exercises, and progressive muscle relaxation. Some airlines even offer fear of flying courses where pilots and psychologists break down the science of flying and teach you how to manage your fear. And hey, if all else fails, just remember, at least you're not stuck in traffic.